Breathedge asked the age-old question, what if survival crafting, but in space? Did it leave me breathless, or was it lost in space? More importantly, is it worthy of your precious time in hard drive space? Man, I said space a lot during that intro. Straight from the tutorial, Breathedge hammers you with silliness. It leans hard into the joke angle, but I'm sorry to say that it takes a quantity over quality approach, and it shows. You won't go more than a few seconds without some kind of joke popping up, and I just didn't find most of them funny at all. It was almost a little uncomfortable, to be honest. The game itself is surprisingly polished for this type of game. The graphics are very nice, and there's a good density to the environments in terms of objects to interact with, as well as the level of detail on said objects. I didn't find the floaty space controls as fun to play with as something like Space Engineers, great game by the way, but there was definitely a sense of weightlessness that you would want from freely floating around in the vacuum of space. Unfortunately, the whole thing is held back by its core mechanic of only having a tiny supply of oxygen. You have to constantly go back to your ship to refill or you'll suffocate, taking the normal survival game chores of resource gathering and exploring from repetitive but kind of relaxing to tedious and awful. Add in the high resource cost of the crafting blueprints, and you have the recipe for a big old not for me dog. Breathedge also does not have a co-op mode to fall back on, which is kind of a rarity in this genre. There's a chance that could have at least helped some, since you could theoretically divide and conquer some of the tedious stuff, but it may not have been enough to salvage the game. This was kind of a hard one to rank for me. The whole game is entirely smothered by the oppressive mechanic of being constantly tethered to your ship. That one mechanic is so bad that I have trouble picturing anyone I'd be comfortable recommending this game to. Still, the game has a nice level of polish, and it does a good job of giving the sense of being in space. Unfortunately, there aren't a ton of options for survival games set against the space backdrop, so if that sounds up your alley, this might be your best bet. That just barely keeps it from being the channel's first game to get the lowest possible ranking, and makes Breathedge a game that is probably not worth your time in hard drive space. Thanks for watching.